Queen Letizia of Spain, accompanied by her daughters Princess Leonor and Princess Sofia, stunned royal watchers and the wider public with a deeply touching gesture that has sparked waves of admiration around the world. At a recent public appearance, the Queen and her daughters seamlessly incorporated sign language into their interactions, sending a powerful message of inclusivity, empathy, and modern leadership. This was not a rehearsed performance for cameras, nor was it a fleeting attempt at symbolism. It was a genuine act of communication that revealed just how in touch the Spanish royal family has become with the evolving needs of society and the voices of those who often feel unseen or unheard. For Queen Letizia, this moment was particularly significant. Known for her background as a journalist before marrying King Felipe VI, she has always brought a sharp sense of awareness, compassion, and connection to her royal role. From the early days of her reign as Spain's queen consort, she has championed causes linked to education, health, children's rights, and equality. To see her, along with her daughters, fluently using sign language to communicate is not only a symbol of personal effort but also an emblem of what modern royalty should embody: leadership through humanity. For many Spaniards watching, it was a reminder that their monarchy is evolving, listening, and striving to bridge divides in society. Princess Leonor, the heir to the throne, who has already been stepping into her royal responsibilities with grace beyond her years, played a particularly striking role in this heartwarming moment. As she smiled warmly and used sign language to engage with members of the public, her actions spoke louder than words could ever convey. For a young future queen, the ability to connect on such an intimate and respectful level sets the tone for her reign to come. She demonstrated that monarchy today is not about distance or privilege, but about building genuine bridges of understanding. Princess Sofia, too, shone with her natural warmth and eagerness to embrace inclusivity, reinforcing the idea that Spain's next generation of royals carries within them the same values of compassion and openness that their mother so clearly champions. The wider significance of this moment cannot be overstated. Sign language is not merely a method of communication, it is a lifeline for millions of people worldwide who rely on it as their voice. For members of a royal family to adopt it publicly and naturally sends a message far beyond Spain's borders. It symbolizes recognition, dignity, and an embrace of diversity in its truest form. It also underscores the idea that the monarchy, often viewed as traditional and ceremonial, can adapt to modern times and lead by example. This was not a staged photo opportunity, it was a gesture of humanity that resonates universally. Observers noted how seamlessly Queen Letizia and her daughters transitioned into sign language, suggesting that this was not their first time practicing or using it. Indeed, Letizia's commitment to education and communication is well documented, and it is likely that she has encouraged her daughters to learn the basics of sign language from a young age. The sight of three royals using their hands to express care and acknowledgement was both symbolic and practical, an act that bridged the gap between royalty and ordinary citizens in a manner that felt profoundly genuine. The response from the public was immediate and overwhelming. Across Spain and internationally, social media lit up with admiration for the Queen and her daughters. Deaf communities in particular celebrated the moment as a long overdue recognition of their presence and importance. Many highlighted how rare it is to see high-profile figures, let alone royals, use sign language in public without it being confined to official sign interpreters. The fact that Letizia, Leonor, and Sofia chose to actively participate in this form of communication left a lasting impression of solidarity and respect. This event also marks another defining moment in Queen Letizia's journey as one of Europe's most modern and relatable queens. Since her marriage to King Felipe in 2004, she has consistently pushed the boundaries of what it means to be royal. Whether through her advocacy for education, her tireless support of children's rights, or her insistence on staying closely connected with the Spanish people, Letizia has built a reputation as a queen of action rather than just ceremony. This recent demonstration of inclusivity is yet another chapter in that story, a reminder that her reign is characterized by authenticity and a deep sense of social awareness. For Princess Leonor and Princess Sofia, the significance of this moment will likely shape their futures as public figures. Leonor, in particular, is being prepared for her eventual role as Spain's queen, and moments like these are part of that preparation. Learning not only the protocols of royal life but also the deeper responsibility of connecting with all citizens, regardless of background or circumstance, is central to her future as a monarch. In using sign language, She showed that her reign will not be one of distant formality but of genuine connection and care. Princess Sofia's supportive role alongside her sister also highlighted the strength of their bond and the shared values they are being raised with. Beyond Spain, this moment has ignited conversations across Europe and beyond about the role of modern royals in promoting inclusivity. In an era where monarchies are increasingly questioned about their relevance, such displays of empathy can help redefine their role in society. By taking the time to learn and use sign language, Letizia and her daughters have shown that royalty can be leaders in bridging cultural and social divides. It is not enough to simply appear at ceremonies and wave from balconies. Modern royals are expected to embody values that resonate with ordinary people. This heartwarming scene provided exactly that. There is also a broader message here about the power of nonverbal communication. At a time when societies are increasingly fragmented, when debates over identity and inclusion dominate public discourse, the image of a queen and her daughters using their hands to communicate understanding and care is a reminder of what true leadership looks like. It is leadership rooted not in hierarchy or symbolism, but in humanity. Critics of monarchy may argue that such gestures are symbolic rather than substantive, yet symbolism itself carries immense power. For many, especially within the deaf community, this was not just a gesture, it was recognition. Recognition that they exist, that their voices matter, and that even the highest ranks of society are willing to meet them on their own terms. Such symbolism can inspire policy changes, greater awareness, and broader conversations about accessibility and inclusivity. For Queen Letizia and her daughters, this moment will surely be remembered as one of their most impactful public appearances. It encapsulates everything that makes them stand out within the global landscape of royalty: authenticity, compassion, and the ability to lead by example. Their use of sign language was not just a fleeting act but a powerful reminder that true nobility is measured not by crowns or titles, but by the ability to connect with people in ways that transcend barriers. As Spain continues to look toward the future of its monarchy, moments like these will play a vital role in shaping public perception. Princess Leonor's readiness to embrace inclusivity and Princess Sofia's natural grace in joining her reinforce the idea that the next generation of Spanish royals will carry forward their mother's legacy of compassion. And for Queen Letizia, it cements her role not only as a queen but as a mother who is raising her daughters to embody the values of respect, empathy, and humanity. The heartwarming moment between Queen Letizia and her daughters, Princess Leonor and Princess Sofia, has now sparked not only admiration but also a broader discussion about the evolving role of royal families in modern democracies. For centuries, monarchies were often seen as distant, almost untouchable institutions, symbols of power, heritage, and tradition. Their gestures were usually ceremonial, carefully scripted, and rarely personal. Yet here, in one spontaneous act of using sign language, Queen Letizia and her daughters have shattered that barrier, reminding the world that monarchy does not have to be about separation, but about connection. The symbolism of hands moving in graceful unison to form words without sound is profound. In a society where communication is often dominated by speeches, declarations, and endless streams of digital messages, the use of silent language felt refreshing, authentic, and deeply meaningful. For many who witnessed it, the moment captured a truth often overlooked: that leadership is not only about speaking but also about listening and acknowledging. And when a queen and her heirs do so in such a personal manner, it resonates far beyond the walls of palaces and the borders of nations. For the deaf community in Spain, this gesture carried a particular weight. Although Spain has made strides toward improving accessibility and recognition for sign language, challenges still remain. Seeing the Queen and her daughters use sign language validated years of advocacy by those who have fought for recognition, education, and acceptance. It was a reminder that their voices, often overlooked, are finally being seen and valued. For young children who rely on sign language, the image of Princess Leonor, the future queen, communicating with her hands was nothing short of empowering. It gave them a vision of a future monarch who understands them, sees them, and is willing to include them. Beyond Spain, international audiences drew parallels to other royals who have made efforts, albeit rarely, to bridge such divides. In the United Kingdom, Princess Diana became famous for her ability to connect with people across all walks of life, breaking royal tradition by shaking hands with AIDS patients at a time when fear and stigma dominated public opinion. In the Netherlands, Queen Maxima has also championed inclusion through financial education and outreach to marginalized communities. But what Letizia and her daughters achieved in this small but significant act was unique. It went beyond a cause or campaign and directly embraced communication itself, the very foundation of human connection. Royal historians have already noted how this moment may be remembered as a turning point in the public image of Spain's monarchy. For decades, the Spanish crown has faced challenges, from scandals involving past kings to debates about its relevance in a democratic society. Yet under King Felipe and Queen Letizia, there has been a conscious effort to restore credibility, dignity, and trust. While Felipe has focused on transparency, institutional strength, and constitutional duty, Letizia has complemented this by embodying empathy, connection, and modernity. Together, they are reshaping the monarchy's image, and their daughter's involvement ensures that this renewal extends to the next generation. Critically, what made the moment so powerful was that it did not feel forced. There was no sense that the Queen or her daughters were using sign language for political gain or public relations. Instead, it felt genuine, as if this was something they had been practicing and believed in. That authenticity is rare in public life, especially in institutions as steeped in tradition as royalty. It is precisely that authenticity which explains why the moment has gone viral, generating heartfelt reactions across social platforms, news outlets, and community forums worldwide. In Madrid, commentators pointed out that this gesture reflects Queen Letizia's journalism roots. As a reporter, she spent years telling stories about ordinary people, listening to their struggles, and amplifying their voices. That sensitivity has carried into her role as queen, where she has consistently emphasized listening to citizens as much as speaking to them. By teaching her daughters the value of communication beyond words, she has ensured that the future of the Spanish monarchy will not only be ceremonial but also empathetic. This also ties into the upbringing of Princess Leonor and Princess Sofia. Unlike many royals of the past, who were shielded from the realities of ordinary life, Leonor and Sofia have been raised with a balance of tradition and modern education. Leonor's time at UWC Atlantic College in Wales, a school known for fostering global awareness, inclusivity, and leadership, has exposed her to diversity and intercultural communication in ways few future monarchs have experienced. Her fluency in multiple languages, including English and Catalan, combined with her knowledge of sign language, showcases a young leader ready for the global stage. Sofia, too, has displayed a curiosity and openness that reflects her mother's influence, and her ability to stand alongside her sister in such a significant moment shows maturity beyond her age. For the Spanish public, this is also about trust. Trust in the idea that their monarchy is evolving, adapting, and finding new ways to stay relevant. In an age where politicians often feel disconnected from the people they represent, moments like these give citizens a reason to feel proud, hopeful, and inspired. While Spain continues to navigate economic challenges, social debates, and the pressures of globalization, the monarchy, through acts like this, can serve as a unifying force, reminding everyone of shared values like compassion, respect, and inclusion. But there is also a global dimension here. At a time when the world is increasingly divided by politics, ideology, and social conflicts, a simple act of kindness by a royal family can transcend boundaries. Images of Letizia, Leonor, and Sofia using sign language have been shared in countries as far as Japan, Canada, and Brazil, sparking conversations about inclusivity, leadership, and the role of public figures. It is a testament to how small gestures can have universal resonance, reminding us that humanity is ultimately defined by empathy. The lasting impact of this moment is yet to be seen, but many predict it could spark greater awareness and advocacy for sign language education, both in Spain and internationally. Schools, community centers, and even political institutions may feel encouraged to promote sign language learning as part of inclusivity campaigns. If that happens, the influence of Queen Letizia and her daughters will extend far beyond this single occasion, creating ripple effects that transform lives for years to come. In essence, the heartwarming scene was not about royalty displaying privilege, it was about royalty embodying responsibility. The responsibility to lead, to connect, and to inspire. The responsibility to acknowledge those often left unseen. And the responsibility to remind us all that leadership, at its core, is about serving humanity. As Queen Letizia, Princess Leonor, and Princess Sofia continue their journey as public figures, moments like these will define their legacy. Long after crowns and titles are passed down, what will remain in memory are the small acts of compassion that touched lives and changed perceptions. And if this gesture is any indication of the future, then Spain's monarchy is set to enter an era where kindness, inclusivity, and genuine connection stand at the forefront of its identity. The story of that day does not end with sign language, it begins with it. Because what the Queen and her daughters did was not simply communicate with hands, they communicated with hearts. They reminded millions of people that silence can be powerful, that gestures can be louder than words, and that the truest form of leadership lies in empathy. And so, as the world reflects on this beautiful moment, a question arises that goes far beyond Spain's borders and touches the very idea of leadership itself. If a queen and her daughters can embrace inclusivity and touch hearts through the simple yet profound use of sign language, shouldn't all leaders, in every field, be inspired to find their own ways to connect with those they serve in meaningful and human ways?